Alrighty guys, we're back for rotation proof mono white aggro, and this is a Final Fantasy Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, we built this together over on the Twitch channel. Nice. We have all four. You're not alone. It's a 1 white mana instant speed. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more creatures, it gets +4/+4 until end of turn instead. So this is going to pair beautifully with Voice of Victory. Of course, it's a 2 mana 1/3 with Mobilize too, so it comes swinging in with those 2 extra warriors, giving you 3 creatures right out the gate, right? Just from 1 creature. So if you control 3 or more, it's +4/+4 instead. And all of a sudden, that's a pretty good 1 mana combat trick, huh? So also on Voice of Victory, your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. That's a pretty good ability, huh? We have 4 Sheltered by Ghost for some removal. That's kind of important. We have a couple Case of the Gateway Express for more removal because we are going wide successfully in here with 4 Resolute Reinforcements. And also, don't forget going wide with those warriors too, but of course, they do sacrifice themselves at the end. Since we are going wide and slamming permanents onto the board, Regal Bunnicorn making the cut as a 4 of. It's a 2 mana. Its power toughness are each equal to the number of non-land permanents you control, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that it's a rabbit unicorn. Yes, that's it. That's the whole reason it's in here, right, guys? Now, Regal Bunnicorn pairs beautifully with Ajani, Caller of Pride. All 4 of them making the cut. It's a 3 mana 4 loyalty legendary planeswalker with a +1 where you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Okay, that's not bad. -3. Target creature gains flying and double strike until end of turn. And if you give flying double strike to a Regal Bunnicorn, that is pretty disgusting. But honestly, anything that you give flying double strike to that you're also slamming a You're Not Alone on top of is going to be pretty devastating for the opponent, unless of course they have chump blockers in the air or something, because there's not a whole lot of ways to give trample in this deck list, huh? Well, there's no ways to give trample, but still, you guys know what I mean. Now we have all 4 Kutzil's flankers here on the top end. It actually pairs beautifully with Resolute Reinforcements, giving us options to hold things open on the opponent's turn, right? Now, Flanker is a 3 mana 3/1 with Flash. When this creature enters, you choose one. You can put a +1/+1 counter on this creature for each creature that left the battlefield under your control this turn. So this could be pretty good if the opponent like drops a temporary lockdown or something, or another board wipe, any board wipe, right? That could be a pretty good tempo play. Get the Flanker down with a whole bunch of counters on it. Or you can just gain 2 life, scry 2, which is kind of no joke. Or exile target player's graveyard, which is absolutely essential right now when we are seeing way too many Reanimator deck lists of all different kinds, whether it's Omniscience or Yuna or just Dinosaur Reanimator I'm seeing too. So there's so many different ways to put Reanimator together. Flanker is going to be essential for that bottom ability. All right, what else do we got packed in? Since we are slamming so many creatures on the board, Hinterland Sanctifier. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. Not the most aggressive creature, but helping us sustain against all the hyper aggro that we are seeing as well. Hopefully, Sanctifier's extra life gain goes the extra mile. We also have a couple Requisition Raids too. For 1 white mana at sorcery speed, you can pay additional spree costs. For the additional cost of 1, you can destroy target artifact. For the additional cost of 1, you can destroy target enchantment. For the additional cost of 1, you can put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. You're going to target yourself, first of all. But yeah, that's pretty decent, right? So for like 3 mana, you could pop an enchantment and still put a +1/+1 counter on your wide board state, which is pretty sick. Over in the mana base, guys, actually rocking 24 mana. Hopefully that's not too much for this one. We do have some utility lands too with a Fountainport and a Dalkovan Encampment, which in this deck list, unfortunately, is always going to enter tapped, but we're just using it as extra utility, so we'll see if it's worth it. Over in the honorable mentions, guys, originally on Twitch, we had Nurturing Pixie, but then I dropped it down to 3, and then after a while, I dropped it down to 2, and then I eventually just dropped it completely. But there are some pretty cool things in here that you can do with Pixie. You can bounce Case back, use its ability again, Reinforcements, Flanker isn't terrible to bounce back. Works well with the Sanctifier too as you're recasting all those creatures, so it's something to think about. And also, we had a top-end Elspeth Stormslayer, but we just don't get to the top end as much as you would think, so. Okay, guys. I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video. in the meantime, let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I'm expecting a little bit, man. I think it is going to be pretty aggressive, or a lot more aggressive than you would think. And then also, it gives us a little bit more sustainability in some of the longer games too. So a little bit more sustainability compared to maybe hyper aggro or something. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. It's a decent hand because we can successfully just go encampment and not worry about it coming out tapped. It's much worse to see encampment late in the game for this deck list, right? Because we don't have too many 1-drops in here. Just the Sanctifier. And then the other 1 mana card is a combat trick, so you don't want to do that on turn 1 anyways. Okay, so against Naya colors and Yuna. Okay, Naya, Yuna, right? I think it's actually safe to get Voice of Victory down. Either way, we're probably going to need to keep Kutzil's flanker open. Maybe not next turn, but the turn after. But we get to keep that open with reinforcements too, so it's actually pretty good. Let's see what they put into their grave here, though. Looked like they traded, yep, some land in there. Sanctifier, hi. Okay, that's pretty good, actually. Play it before combat, get a swing. Sheltered by Ghost, yeah, we want to wait on that. Yeah, now's not the time to keep flanker open. We want to wait till there's actually something in the grave. And there might not be anything next turn either, so... Alright, reinforcements is open though. It's going to be more tapped land. See what they send. It's more land. Okay. Okay. Invasion. Let's see what they send. And this is pretty good ramp. It ramps them right into the Yuna then. If they have an untapped source for next turn. Ghost Vacuum. Okay. They are going to swing. Okay. We want to keep Sanctifier around, and I don't even want to chump with reinforcements. So we could get an extra 4 damage through if we do Requisition Raid before combat. But it's probably better... Well, Sheltered by Ghost can take the treasure, keeping them a turn away from the Yuna, right? If it's in their hand and they have an untapped source. They also need to have something in the grave worthwhile, so it's not the flanker's turn yet, right? We could save Sheltered, we could go all 4 mana into the raid, pop the fear, pop the artifact, and boost the board state. That is kind of crazy, right? We should totally do that. Artifact, enchantment, target player. It's sorcery speed, so you can't wait to do it at instant speed with the warriors on the board. Yeah, we want to do it before combat. So they pop it for a green source here. It's good damage, man. I'd say the scariest thing possible would be temporary lockdown. That would be the scariest thing, but they don't have the second white source on the board yet, so... It's a red source. Okay. I guess the deck list could run like Brotherhood's End, too. Oh, Brotherhood's End, but Voice of Victory spared. Nice. Okay, so we have Voice and then another 2, and we could go another 2 warriors. That's 6 damage. Not quite there yet, huh? I'm just going to keep flanker open. Yep. Totally fine. Flash it in. Down to 4. Okay. Yeah, so even if they find something for Voice, if we flash in flanker, we'd still have encampment off the swing with flanker too. Or just Sheltered by Ghost, their 1 blocker too. Yeah, they're missing a lot in the grave, I would say. It's going to be another tapped land, so still no Yuna. Is good news. Bitter Reunion. Sees the spoils in the grave now, too. Looks like they're missing a lot, guys. More land, wow. They tried to pop the Bitter Reunion as well. Good game, good game. Yeah, it looked like they were missing a lot. But I also think even if they weren't missing a lot, that I think we would have been well prepared. And Flanker, I'm telling you, dude, we chose 4 of these for a very good reason when we put this together on Twitch. Holy cow. Yep, all 4 of them for a very good reason. So even if they found more in the grave, we were ready to exile their grave, for 1. Number 2, if they weren't missing their other things, then also maybe they would have missed the Brotherhood's End or something, right? So, yeah, I guess it really depends. All right, let's keep the ball rolling. That felt pretty good. We pushed a lot of damage through pretty fast, and Requisition Raid is just a criminally underplayed card. Every time I play with it, I bring that up, but yeah, it just feels criminally underplayed. Oh, it has to be the right deck list too, all right? You actually have to have like this whole concept of going wide with creatures. I don't know if necessarily you'd want Requisition Raid in your mono white mid-range build. Well, mono white mid-range does know how to get a lot of tokens on the board. Maybe not the best example of a deck list that doesn't want it, right? And in a deck list like that too, you'd probably only want one of them because it has other ways of dealing with things like get lost too. All right, opponent goes first. That's scary, but this is a good hand. It would be really silly to mulligan this. Yeah, with the opponent going first, if it is going to be hyper aggro, we do have Sanctifier turn 1. Maybe it survives, and with Voice and Reinforcements in hand too, that's pretty good life gain. Also, Ajani on 3. I mean, this curve is just incredible. Getting the Voice above a Lightning Strike. Oh. Seachrome Coast. Still going to be a Lightning Strike? No, probably not, huh? Alright, Sanctifier, come on down, buddy. It's going to be an op. Regal Bunnicorn. Probably want to establish Voice of Victory first. Well, what don't we want to get countered here? Reinforcements on their turn's a little better. That's what we'll do then. I'll swing into an Elspeth Smite. It is not one, which is good news, but it's worth the swing because we don't want that hitting like Voice. Wait, can't hit Voice, bottom ability. Well, you don't want it hitting a small Bunnicorn. If Bunnicorn is small at the time, right? All right, either way, it's reinforcements against untapped, so... Because if they spend all 3 mana to counter our reinforcements, that's pretty good. We get our 3 mana card then, potentially. And I think establishing Ajani would be perfect here. It is going to be Phantom Interference. They still got 1 mana open for a Spell Pierce, which I'm just going to pretend that they don't have a Spell Pierce, and we'll try to establish Ajani. Nice. That's pretty good, man. Yeah, getting Ajani established is pretty good. Now, next turn, we can double down on our creatures if we don't think it's going to get board wiped. Mentor. Okay. Well, before the swing, we get Voice down. That way they can't do anything else for our turn. I guess Case over Bunnicorn makes me feel sad, but we should probably take the Mentor out of the equation, right? I guess. It's much slower than Bunnicorn, but there's no guarantee that they don't just run away by having way too many blockers. Voice already has a huge target on his back, guys, so we're just going to boost the Sanctifier again. Plus, it's more damage going through this turn. Yeah, establishing Bunnicorn, getting it ready for double strike next turn could have been pretty good too, but... Oh, Picklock Prankster. Oh, it's a Mini Reanimator. All right. Yeah. So Mentor could easily come back this turn. Still got 3 mana open. Looks like Voice might be on the chopping block here. Yeah, Voice is a big problem versus Mini Reanimator. Wow, right into an Oculus, guys. Good stuff, opponent. Really good stuff. Woo, you're not alone. That's pretty good. That's pretty decent. Flying double strike, just not doing enough when they actually have a blocker in the air that they just can reanimate next turn. I'm probably just going to go +1 counter. +4 onto a 4/5. They block there over voice. They can block there. So we try to spread out their... I apologize, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. We try to spread out their blocks by tricking them, by putting a counter onto voice. That way they block Oculus into voice instead. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah, you're not alone. I'd love to push damage through, but we have to get the Oculus off the board. 2 cards in hand they don't know about. Okay. We'll swing. Go back up to 23. Yeah, we want voice to be blocked by Oculus so we can get Oculus off the board that way. Okay, you're not alone. Yes. Cool. Down to 10 and get the Bunnicorn down and ready for double strike off of the Ajani. And unfortunately, the case is not solved yet because the warriors do not count towards solving the case, as they come in already swinging in. Oculus back from the grave as expected, but it was worth a shot, right? I think so. Now we could flying double strike onto the Bunnicorn. If we don't see a permanent next turn, no. Okay, yeah. The warriors will boost the Bunnicorn to a 7/7. They're forced into a block with the Oculus for sure. And they can't do anything on our turn because of voice. But they get an extra blocker on the ground too. So we're in danger. If they reanimate this Oculus again, then we're in some serious danger. Reinforcements is actually pretty good. Yeah, we -3 Ajani to force a block. I think that makes the most sense.
Your righteousness uplifts you.
I think... Do we reinforcements on our turn or their turn? I guess their turn as a surprise. It's 14 in the air if they don't block. Like I said, they're forced to block the double striking Bunnicorn. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, opponent. Uh-oh. Yeah, we didn't have trample or anything. Down to -7. Oh, maybe they thought... Maybe they got fooled by the... Yeah. I bet they had some tempo in hand, guys. The Voice of Victory, the bottom ability, it's really easy to overlook, and I've definitely overlooked it in the past. So my bet is this 1 open mana was a bounce spell for the Bunnicorn. What do you guys think? But Voice of Victory strikes again. Oh, man. Yeah, let's keep the ball rolling, huh? Guys, while I have you here somewhere in the early middle-ish of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And also, guys, speaking of supporting the channel, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing because it really does help out the channel. So thank you, guys. All right, let's do it. It's a little weird hand, but see, even in that last match, flanker. Dude, I'm telling you, man, there's just way too many graveyards that need exiled. The other day, I saw somebody with the main board Leyline of... what is that one? Leyline of the Void or something? The one that exiles cards that hit the grave. And you just can't even disagree with that. It's just kind of necessary sometimes, you know? I will keep the flanker open over the voice because it's probably just going to be more instant speed spot removal for voice, and it's a little better just to go right into the flanker then. Okay, picture the schism. And nothing else for the opponent because they tapped out. Let's go gain 2, scry 2. We don't need more mana. Reinforcements is pretty good. I'll keep reinforcements on top. Yeah, we need some more heavy hits, though, too. And we don't have a lot of great blockers versus Preacher. And we don't have a lot of great swings versus Preacher either, so... whoa, hey. Whoa there. I know it's my favorite button to hit, but not this time. Okay, they D-swing with Preacher. They get a little 1-1, which blocks the flanker a little bit too well, but we'll take the 2 here back down to 20. Yeah, because I don't want to chump, because if we find a case off the top or something, we'll have 4 creatures. No, we won't, huh? All right. Resolute Reinforcements, we'll go ahead and sacrifice the token. Maybe I should have waited until the very last moment here. Maybe. It's going to be a get lost for voice. Okay. The map token should come in handy. Sanctifier. Okay. Start with the map tokens. Try to get a counter on the flanker so we actually have a swing. Okay, same thing, same thing. Okay, crap. Oh, no. Oh, no, I shouldn't have played the mana, guys. We should have established Fountainport for sure. Well, that's a lot of mana. And we scryed one earlier, too. I think we'll keep flanker open. They're going to get another 1-1. And they get some card draw since we're both at 20. All right. Flanker open as a surprise here. I guess we're going to go middle ability again, game 2, right? Go back up to 19, but then the Preacher Schism is balanced again. Hopefully we can actually get a swing here. Hopefully. Okay, Unholy Annex. Okay. Still gonna wait for the very last moment on the flanker. Yeah, we could have blocked, went counters on flanker instead. I don't know. I think the Scry 2 is pretty essential when we're flooding, right? I think so. You're not alone. Okay. That's interesting. And another flanker, which is just not great against all the 1-1s here. The You're Not Alone is very, very interesting. I'm going to send it, though. Yeah, versus what we're up against, I don't know. I don't know about just getting that extra in. Ajani, crap, dude. Okay, well, I think I'm going to regret sending the You're Not Alone. But honestly, there's no guarantee that they wouldn't have just had more spot removal on the stack of the You're Not Alone anyways, right? Okay. Come on down, Ajani. We're going to boost one of these flankers. Keep 2 blockers back for the Ajani. And maybe I shouldn't have gotten rid of that token earlier. Maybe I should have sacrificed the actual reinforcements. They do go for the chump. Makes sense. They go back up to 19. They're going to get the 1-1 and the card draw again from the Preacher swing, which is super brutal, huh? Could I have predicted that a little bit better? Okay, yeah, we're going to chump. No, this time... Wait. I'm confusing myself. They didn't get the vampire this time. But weren't we both the same? Question mark? Who am I? What's happening? I've played Magic before, guys, I swear. I promise. This isn't my first time sitting down to play Magic. They go for a 6/6 Flying Demon off the Unholy Annex, which is terrifying business. Regal Bunnicorn! Hi! But now we're not going to be able to keep the Ajani alive because they have a 6/6. So maybe we go for the double strike this turn and Let's see if they block, but I doubt it. The double strike off of, if we would have kept the You're Not Alone, could have been crazy business. Great blocks here, in general. Even a +1 on the Ajani. Block. Oh yeah, dude, we're in significant danger. If Ajani's dying either way, maybe we can at least push 8 through here. That makes the most sense to me. Yeah, we push 8 through. They want to keep the flyer. We do get them down to 12. Regal Bunnicorn comes down. It's a chunky little Bunnicorn, and then we do have Fishy on Fountainport. Okay, so 6/6 swings at the Ajani. Creature of the Schism has been an absolute menace because we just don't have good blocks, and we really don't want to trade Bunnicorn into Preacher of the Schism. We can at least chump with our Fishy. Or Flanker and Fishy, since they're getting so much value here. I guess we could do that. We're losing 2 things. We actually... they have max speed now. 2 things for the price of 1, but at least Fountainport can just continuously generate fishies for us, I guess. Losing 2 things, though, if we top deck another Ajani, Regal Bunnicorn will only be 5 after playing the Ajani. No, Ajani's dead too, so even if we see an Ajani, it would be 4. Sun Pearl, bounce the Momentum Breaker, and I guess the sacrifice here will be Sanctifier? Hopefully they don't do that again, right? Oh yeah, stuck between a rock and a hard place for sure. This is a tough game. Unholy Annex number 2. Ooh, keeping their hand nice and stocked up. We're going down to 14. Sheltered by Ghosts. Hi, dude. Good draw, good draw. We want to pick up their demon for sure. But the Unholy Annex just chilling over there. They're going to generate another demon. Oh, crap, man. Oh, crap. Well, at least they'll have to spend 5 for it. And also, there's so much removal in the opponent's deck, we really don't want anything underneath the Sheltered by Ghost, because they'll get it back so easy. Alright, let's see their blocks, because I think Sun Pearl blocks Flanker. We're in danger, guys. I'm going for the full swing because we should. And that's that. Ooh, nice. We get to push a little extra damage through here by generating a Fishy. Not bad. We're like, overall, we're not doing terrible for what we're up against right now, but nowhere to run. Yeah, gets around the Sheltered by Ghosts. Easy peasy, bro. Also, if I wouldn't have swung with Flanker, then nowhere to run wouldn't have hit the Bunnicorn. That's pretty important, I would say. Actually, I'll just take the 2 because we might sacrifice the Fishy to draw off the Fountainport here. They go back up to 17. We do find a Regal Bunnicorn, but yeah, we're gonna do some card draw. Maybe we find a Sheltered by Ghost. Play Bunnicorn and another Sheltered? No, it's just gonna be mana, unfortunately. I believe that is game. They got 6 in the air. They could pop our Bunnicorn with more removal, because their hand is so stocked up, guys. You just have to expect more removal. So it's 8 getting through, then another 4 from the Unholy Annex. Have a fancy pants, GG opponent. Yeah, good game. I think it potentially could have gone either way. Maybe if we would have seen Sheltered by Ghosts a little sooner, right? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Sheltered by Ghosts, pick up the Preacher of the Schism, because that was generating so much value. Or maybe I should have double blocked the Preacher earlier to get it off the board. That could have been pretty significant too, right? That's a tough decision. I don't really know. It's hard to tell where to optimize there in that game. Because against the right deck list, those like Orzhov bounce builds and whatnot are just like, they just obliterate, right? Against the right deck list. I'd say this is one of those right deck lists because we really care about our creatures on the board. I'm going to mulligan, guys. We can do much better. Yeah, there we go. There we go. What do I send, though? The opponent goes first. I really don't want to send the flanker, but we should. No, the mana. We're way more likely to find more mana off the top, and we definitely flooded in the last game, too. So much of a flood that I would consider 23, but more testing required for sure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, guys. Hired Claw for their turn 1. Hired Claw for their turn 2. Uh-oh. We're in danger, dude. It's the turn 3 that matters here. It's the turn 3 for sure. They might as well, I was going to say, they might as well maximize damage while they have it, while we're tapped out. But it looks like they are going to save the Monstrous Rage for a little bit more. And that probably means we don't want to block with Voice of Victory next turn. Really hard to block mono red right now, so. And Emberheart Challenger. That makes sense to save the Monstrous Rage for the Challenger on the board. We don't want them targeting the Challenger, so I guess we could try a block into the Hired Claw. They still want to target Challenger regardless. But we'll try to take one less here. But popping Voice of Victory with the Monstrous Rage is pretty good too. Okay, that's a Burst Lightning that's not hitting our face. I guess that's okay, right? Okay, we have a little bit of life gain on the flanker, and we will try to actually flank the Challenger, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. Oh, guys, whenever this video is going up, it's probably after the ban announcement, so... hello from the past. I'm still playing with Monstrous Rage. Now, I don't know. We don't know what's actually getting banned or what isn't getting banned, but... okay. A lot of extra damage here. They still got 2 cards in hand, 2 mountains open. We're in significant danger. Let's go ahead and try the block. We want to hit Challenger, but once Monstrous Rage hits it, it gets Prowess 2. It does get around the 3 damage. So if Challenger sticks around, like we really need Challenger off the board. No, we do not need more mana. We need Sheltered by Ghost. Uh-oh, Lightning Strike. Okay, 5 damage coming through, and we lose pretty much next turn if we don't find removal, and we don't, guys. Oh, no. See, not enough creatures on the board for Case, because we lost 2 creatures to some effective burn from the opponent. We play Case just because we can. It doesn't do anything here, because no matter what, we die from the backswing. We could have maybe... No, I don't see anything else we possibly could have done, right? This was a lot of mana on top. Right, 3 to the bottom here, guys. 6 more, that's 9 mana. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, guys. Okay, so we block the Challenger because it has double strike and whatnot, but it doesn't matter because the Hired Claw gets through anyways. Yeah, that's a lot of mana that early in the game. So I guess we flooded a little bit. Maybe if we flooded a little less, maybe if we would have found one of our 4 Sheltered by Ghost too. I bring this up often, and I brought it up on stream when we were playing this too, but there's just like so many matches where the only reason you're able to do anything is Sheltered by Ghosts, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy that it comes down to that one card sometimes, you know? All right, guys, let's try to get another match in. Let's try to end on a high note, because I think the deck list is more than capable of ending on a high note. This is another risky one, right? We mulliganed in that last game too. We mulliganed a hand of 4 land away. Maybe 24 is too much, but we really, really want to see our 3rd on 3. I'm going to keep it. We're going to see if my decision, or our decision, I should say, of 24 land makes sense. Yeah, because we didn't want to drop any on when we streamed the deck list, so... Okay, we'll send one of the flankers because it's the furthest away, and no guarantees. I'd say a lot of times it's good practice to play Voice of Victory before combat, right? Even though the opponent was tapped out there and everything. Okay, second swamp probably means Voice bites the dust. They want to do it before they send it back too, of course. And then third mana off the top would be great because then the Scry is incredible on the flanker when we're this early. So Anoint for the Voice. Yep, we knew that was coming. Reinforcements is pretty good too. Maybe we can actually solve the case then when it comes time, if Sanctifier survives. Ruthless Negotiation is going to be... We should really keep Requisition Raid for Anoint. It breaks my heart, but we should get rid of the flanker, right? I don't know. It might not even have a creature for the case. What we want is we want to solve the case. We need more actual aggro pushing through to the opponent. All right. Hopefully it's not a hopeless nightmare. Okay. Good, because I would have had a really tough decision. I think the next one will be Requisition Raid. No creature. I think we still play case. We do find our third mana, which is really good news, guys, but maybe we could do Requisition Raid. The +1 counters are a little better, and then case will get... If it doesn't get discarded, it might actually be able to pick something up. They still get Scry too on the Hopeless Nightmare, so what's the point of that, right? It's not when they activate the bottom ability, it's when it's put into the graveyard. One second, opponent, I'm thinking. So what is the best case scenario here? If we play case and actually get the swing, we solve it? I guess we save Requisition Raid instead then. Or just +1 counters. Okay, I guess +1 counters because at some point we might have an issue with a creature, and we'd rather pick up the creature with the case, and we might not be able to pick up any creature with Requisition Raid because it's unlikely to be like an artifact creature in mono black. So, yeah. Creature of the Schism. Okay, but we need more actual creatures on the board to pick up that toughness. This is a menace against this deck list, dude. For real, for real. Yeah. Could always do it before combat, and then they don't have great blocks anymore, and then we still solve the case. And we might still push 6 through, and then Ajani might wrap it up next turn. But honestly, I think just establishing Ajani's better, and we don't want Ajani to get discarded either. 4 in the air for a -3, or we just boost one of these, and I suppose we can go ahead and boost the reinforcements. In case they're playing Sheoldred's Edict, you don't want to boost the only token, because then our biggest creature they could pop by just choosing tokens there then. So no attacks, Creature of the Schism holding down the fort for the opponent until we actually get another 1-drop, which only Sanctifier. So we just need to find a different way around the creature, or maybe Case can pick up a different creature that they play too. Yeah, against Mono Black, this is anyone's game, dude, for real. Hopefully we get to showcase something good here, though. They actually do go for the popping of the Sanctifier. They swing at the Ajani. Ajani going down to 3 is totally fine. We keep both creatures around. Yeah, we don't want to chump. More mana, not great. If we had... We got 2 swamps open, guys. So wherever we plug this, we want to plug it wide. See, maybe we should have solved the case last turn because we could have just been playing Ajani now. I'm going to keep the mana in hand to discard instead of the case if that's the route that they end up taking. And we should swing for 6. Ajani will not have the -3 next turn, but they're going to be in danger if they're not careful here. Okay, like I said, anyone's game, and I am kind of getting convinced to drop down to 23 mana. I don't know what we want to go up, though, yet. Ruthless Negotiation. Okay, ditch the mana, keep the case to pop a chump blocker. Of course, Preacher of the Schism's going to be the blocker. Uh-oh, and then after the sacrifice, they're going to swing at the Ajani, getting it down to -2. I suppose this time round it doesn't matter. We can pop the reinforcements just in case we see Fountainport and for some reason want to pop the token. Yeah, they want to make sure that the Ajani can't do the -3, so they're definitely swinging there. Maybe we find another Ajani off the top? No, it's going to be more mana, guys. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is bad news, man. Really bad news. Liliana has a +1 discard. It hits them too, though. We can just keep the mana in hand for that. Case just being incredibly awkward. We could wait till next turn, but they could just find more spot removal. We still swing. We still swing, yeah. We could play everything out of our hand, but I still want to try to keep the case to maybe pop a chump blocker if they find one. All right. All right, I think more spot removal is likely, guys, just based on how much spot removal we usually see in Standard, but also we're up against Mono Black. Shieldred is a blocker. They go plus here. We can get rid of the planes. Yeah, now they can swing with a... They can swing at Ajani and still have a really good block for our 4/4, which will actually be a 5/5, unless... Another Ajani off the top would be crazy. Dude, it's another plane. Oh, no. Oh, no, guys. Now, they have the -2 on Liliana next turn no matter what. So, we take the swing right into the Shieldred. We're forcing the block. Their Shieldred's gone. They have plus on Liliana for a while. There's an argument to be made, guys, that maybe I should have played Case earlier and kept the Requisition Raid back instead. There's a real case to be made there. A case of the Gateway Express to be made. Okay, I'm sorry. They have 5 mana for the Ruthless Negotiation out too. So this time round, guys, we play it all because we're pretty close to being out of this one, unfortunately. There's something else about this game, guys. The encampment. The encampment probably would have won us this game, right? Since they're at 2. This time they're letting us keep the Ajani. They swing at face. They get a 1/1 lifelink. Oh. That's why. That's what I was missing earlier, guys. Of course, I should know this. It's when it attacks the player. They were swinging at Ajani. Yeah, that's what it was earlier. Okay, they do go plus on Liliana, and then they'll do the 5 for Ruthless because they get some card draw, so they kind of cycle it out in a weird way, right? Yeah, unfortunately, they drained us far enough to where there's not a lot of coming back from this because we're in a Liliana lockdown state now. Because they'll just go -2 every time we find a creature off the top. And they can keep swinging Preacher at face and go 1/1 to the Ajani if they want to keep Ajani under the 3, right? They do find a Bandit's Talent here too, and they'll probably go ahead and power that up to help the process for sure. Yeah, they swing it at the Ajani. Make sure it stays under the 3. I'd say that is pretty essential. All right. Hopeless Nightmare with the excess mana. Let's see what they keep on top. Yeah, we're going to play this out, guys, because it's not going to be too many turns now. They're draining us pretty good. It is going to be more mana, and this is essential feedback for the deck list because I was already thinking about going down to 23. We have 6 3-drops in here. If you miss your 3rd, you're going to be pretty sad, especially with how essential Flanker is in a lot of different matchups.
You won't be outsmarting.
Now they can still swing 1 at Ajani and the other to face. No, they're going to go 2 to Ajani this time. So we still have, what, 4 turns if they keep that rate up. But I'm pretty sure they're going to start swinging face with the tokens soon enough here. And like I said, Liliana lockdown still happening because they still have the -2 on Liliana, even if they miss removal off the top, and they're getting extra card draw too. So looks like 2 more turns for us, guys, or 1 more actual turn, because they can get rid of our blocker first. They actually find a go for the throat, so they do get to keep the Liliana around, get it up to 3, and then they'll have the -2 next turn for whatever creature we find off the top. You guys can see why the encampment's in here then. I'm definitely not going to drop that as one. I don't know if we want multiple encampments though, because in this deck list, if you see it in your opener, it's pretty decent because that could be your turn 1 and you don't really worry about it. They dropped the good game. Oh, it is a good game. I miscounted. That's somewhere. I thought we'd at least get 1 more card draw. Ah, man. Yeah, that was a good one, opponent. Really, the Preacher of the Schism is just an absolute menace versus this deck list. And again, another one where Sheltered by Ghost would have been incredible, dude. But instead, we just kept finding more and more mana, which is brutal stuff. Mono White Aggro. Again, we built this together on Twitch. Very fun stuff, man. I like it. It's it didn't perform for the video, and that's fine because I think it's actually pretty good. As funny as that is, right? But go ahead, put it on the do not craft list. Just in case I'm wrong, and there's a chance that I really am wrong, so it's completely rotation proof. That's cool. If you already have all the cards, maybe put it together, try it out. Let me know in the comments, did it do better for you than it did for me today? I think it did much better when we actually streamed it too on Twitch, so that's probably a big reason why I have some confidence with the deck list. You can see why I only have a couple case versus 4 sheltered instead of like 2 sheltered, 4 case, right? Even though we're going wide in here and stuff, there's going to be a lot of moments where case just chills in your hand. And boy, the Flood. Why did it feel like we had 26 mana in some of those games? That's pretty wild, actually. Guys, keep your eye on this combo. You're Not Alone with Voice of Victory. It's so cool to me that you swing with Voice, you get 2 warriors, you don't need anything else on the board. All of a sudden, You're Not Alone is an extra 4 damage potential on anything there, right? If they block the Voice, if they chump the Voice and block another warrior or something, you still have another warrior getting through. You can still boost that last warrior with the You're Not Alone and still have time for a 2-drop on that turn. As a matter of fact, you just take the blocker out of the equation with the Sheltered by Ghost. This really hid in our deck list today, didn't it? And if it didn't, if we actually saw some of these, man, I mean, I just say it all the time. I'm sorry I sounded like a broken record, but this is just so essential, and all 4 of them for a very, very good reason. Holy cow. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on You're Not Alone with Voice, and also Ajani, because the Ajani is just explosive out of nowhere with the -3, and the opponent's like thinking, oh, they're giving a double strike to their 2/3 Sanctifier or something. That's not a big deal. I don't know why I'm saying it's 2/3. Maybe it got boosted by Ajani at some point. Anyways, they're giving double strike to their 2/3. That's not a big deal, right? And then all of a sudden you go, You're Not Alone, and then boom, it's an extra 8 damage out of nowhere. And of course you need 3 or more creatures on the board too, which is why like reinforcements and everything is relatively essential. So there are, like, again, we're going wide, but don't forget, guys, this is rotation proof. So if you're thinking like some of the Convoke cards and stuff, these are rotating out. This was in Aftermath, it looks like, right? So when we put the deck list together, what's rotating? And I did look into it again, so unless there's like some kind of weird surprise, we're losing March of the Machine, the Aftermath, All Will Be One, Brothers War, and Dominaria United. And I think the easier way to double check to make sure it's rotation proof is just go to Alchemy, because I believe Alchemy already rotated. You can see no red cards here. But when we go to Alchemy and we have Convoke up here, the only cards remaining, the Wanderer, or the Wandering Rescuer. And what is this? Dazzling Theater. Creature spells you cast have Convoke. It's actually pretty cool, right? What's the prop room? Untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step. Dude, we should try this somewhere. I've never played with this one yet. I have all 4 of them. We should try this somewhere. Let me know if you have any cool prop room builds. in the comments. Maybe we'll put that together at some point. Anyways, guys, yeah, remember when giving suggestions down in the comments, we built this intentionally to be rotation proof. So we built it by turning off these sets here. Wilds of Eldraine is safe, which is great news. I love Wilds of Eldraine. You know, the main reason is a little rabbit unicorn, but you know, there's other reasons to like the set too. All right. Yeah, Requisition Raid as a 2 of. I love this, man. This is good. I could see actually just dropping the case, going up a 3rd Requisition Raid, and just a Get Lost or something, right? There's going to be a lot of reasons, though, to keep case, because when you do solve it, it does really help the aggro side of things here. When it is solved creatures you control get +1/+0. But maybe we could just do other things. There was actually some cards that we considered for the deck list that didn't make the cut because a little too expensive for what it's doing. But this is a nice budget-friendly card here. Just a common Summon Chocomog, a 3 mana 3/3, and then 4 chapters on this saga. Other creatures you control get +1/+0. It's a really cool budget-friendly way to boost a wide board state. I like this. I like this. I liked this so much that while we were putting the deck list together, it broke my heart that I moved it over to the sideboard and then eventually dropped it from the honorable mentions too. But maybe there's an awesome budget-friendly way to put together a go wide deck list that's also rotation proof, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Should we drop that land? Should we drop the plains? I could actually see 2 Fountainports too. There's going to be moments where you don't want double Fountainport to hold up your turn 3 Ajani, but that's rare. You got to get pretty unlucky to only see a plains and double Fountainport, you know? But I could actually see more Fountainport. With Fountainport in here too, with the encampment, that's more things to spend our mana on. Maybe if I kept the top end Elspeth in and dropped a case down to 1, but I don't really want to make that change here at the end of the video either. Tough decisions. We just flooded and then flooded a little bit more, didn't we? The extra scry too. We were even scrying lands off the top, putting them at the bottom. That's tough. It's tough decisions because look, we're peaking up. The curve is peaking over those 2 drops. You know what that means? That means turn 4 often wants to look like 2 drops. So what if you miss your 4th? Oh no, it's a really tough decision, guys. I'm going to keep it as is, but keep your eye on that for sure. All those games I was thinking maybe 23 mana would work a little better, and that very well might be the case. So keep your eye on that. Like I said, though, put it on the do not craft list. It just did not perform today. If you already have all the cards, let me know how it goes, because it is still a pretty fun concept here. And Regal Bunnicorn is just one of my favorite cards in Standard. Thank goodness I revisited it here today, and I'd love to revisit it again at some point. Let me know if you have any fun Regal Bunnicorn deck lists too. Let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll add them as some comment suggestions. Okay, guys, enough rambling, huh? Oh, Sanctifier kind of did pretty well today, didn't it? We gained a lot of life off of Sanctifier. The problem was, in the matches where we were gaining life, it wasn't against hyper aggro. It was just like further mid-range deck list, so maybe we survived an extra swing from a giant demon or something. You know what I mean? I like Sanctifier. I think the 4 of is actually pretty good in here. Okay, that's everything, I think. Either way, guys, if you made it this far in, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.